2, 3.
Fat.
Are we going for round 3?
No.
Enzo.com.
Oh, shit. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Enzo.com.
Hello, my awakened non-woke folks. Hear my plea. You're recovering from sleep when you see me, Bobby P, instead of the sheep on TV. You could be watching more of the same or the game or finding someone to blame for your shameful situation. You'll never have the fame, nor the fortune, nor the glory, nor the money, nor the power, because you're happy and content consuming mainstream media for hours on end. I think you need a friend to listen to in times you're going off the deep end. I'll send my condolences, maybe some flowies, and an edible. Walter Cronkite's dead. This just in, no one's credible. Fake news is rampant and you're too heavy-eyed to tell. Stop yawning. I know you're longing a cup of that Maxwell House coffee on the shelf. Note to self, be self-aware and tell the truth, radically honest. Disregard your couth because that voting booth is strongest. Cue the Billy Joel music. A bottle of red pills, a bottle of blue. It all depends upon your attitude. Welcome to the shop, episode 187 on a motherfucking cop. Anyway, tonight's guest is a podcasting radio personality who goes just by a single name. He's like Madonna in that way. Actually, I just recently realized it's actually his first name, not his last name. Although I assumed it was just his last name, kind of like I go. Anyway, meet RISCALLA. Welcome to Buy Pickles podcast, episode 187.
Hello.
That's me. Yeah. What's up, RISCALLA? Isn't it insane that I got to go through all that to start this?
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
So we're finally live.
We're finally live.
So I like the little rhyme that you did. That was pretty cool.
Thank you. Was it? Are you just telling me that because you're here?
No.
I try to do the rhyme kind of like, I like to equate it to my guest in some way.
Yeah.
And so, how did you come up with this, the Red Pill reality show?
It came from the
Why
Matrix.
reality on there? Red Pill reality.
Because when you take the red pill, you understand the reality that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
It came from the Matrix. It came from Neo and now I can't think of his name.
Morpheus?
Morpheus and Neo speaking, and he gives Neo the option. He says, "This is your last chance. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe, or you take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
You really
and
think
I'll show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Do you really think it's that
Remember,
dire?
All I'm offering is the truth.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
That's all right.
God, I'm such an idiot cutting off that great quote. But do you really think it's that dire?
Yeah, I really do. I don't like to refer to my age and numbers. I say levels now. I'm at level 6.8 in life. I'm up there. I've seen quite a bit. And this is the most dangerous time for our freedom right now. It is absolutely, without question, under the greatest threat that we've ever faced. And what makes it worse, it really is like salt on the wound, is that many of those who are supposed to be protecting our freedom are actually fighting to take it away. That's what hurts, as people, with what's going on with regard to it's like a hypnotism almost, that the system that's in place, it almost hypnotizes people. The more that people watch television, the more that they're off on its alternative, they're in the blue pill. The more television they watch, the more people I see on the blue pill. The less, I don't watch any television at all. If I watch 10 or 15 minutes of television in a month, that's a lot for me. I get video clips. I watch video clips of TV. I get bits and pieces. But I will no longer pay to be programmed anymore. That's just, to me, it doesn't make sense. It's just my opinion. But to me, it doesn't make sense. What we need to do is to be able to break through that hypnotism. That this, I call it hypnotism, programming's, I can't think of the other word, conditioning people, all of that. It's basically the same thing. And the people who are doing it, sadly, have had eons of experience at how human behavior works. And so they will set up a problem, and then they'll let the people freak out, and then they'll offer the people a solution to that problem. But the problem in the whole equation is the solution to the problem always takes away something from the people. So if it's a mass shooting, what do they talk about? The first thing is gun control. I believe the gun control is, how fast can you shoot that gun and be under control? That's my version of gun control. The rules have been stipulated before any of these people came into office, and they don't want to go by the rules. They want to change the rules as they go along to suit them. And that's where we're at today. The people, like my generation, they said there were 60,000 roughly of my generation didn't come back from Vietnam. I don't believe that number. I believe it's a lot more than that. I have personal friends who didn't come back, and I have friends that came back who weren't my friends when they came back. There was somebody completely different because of the trauma that they were subjected to over there. Come to find out, the whole thing's a lie. All of the murdering, everything was a lie. And then the confirmation of that, we went to Afghanistan. Why are we still in Afghanistan? 21 years later, we're still there. Why? 20 years we're in Iraq. How many years have we been in Yemen? How many years have we been in Libya? And we overthrew that leader who was loved by his people, by the way. This is the problem. We're lied to all the time. So you don't know what the truth is unless you dig. If you don't dig, you're not going to know what the truth is, because you're going to be fed the garbage that these people who are running everything want you to know. They don't want you to know these things. They don't want you to know that they accused Muammar Gaddafi of the plane bombing, 301, Pan Am 301. Okay, they went after him. They couldn't get him. They killed his niece, I think it was. How many years later, 10, 15 years later, the CIA comes out and says, he wasn't the guy, it was somebody else. Now, it's a little late for that, isn't it? After that, now they go and they literally murder this man.
DNA can't help you with that.
Yeah, and they murder this man, take over his country, and the country is now, they're selling slaves in the open market in Libya. That's thanks to, other countries as well, but that was our doing. That was Miss Wonderful herself, the lady devil, if you will. Hillary, if you want to call her that. Oh, we came, he died, we left. I don't know what This is the sadness and the sickness that we have to put up with. If we don't fight this now, it's going to be too late. The window of opportunity for us to regain control of our country is very small. And sadly, the bad people have the upper hand on us right now. There's not more of them than us. They're just a hell of a lot louder than us. And sadly, they're in the positions that they can make the difference, that can hurt us, where we're not in those positions yet. And that's why I like the idea of the Floridians first, America first, all of the first to defend Florida first. These are people who are working to get us people who are honorable, people who have integrity, people who are going to obey their oath, because what we have now is a bunch of charlatans, criminals. If you and I did what they did, Bobby, we'd be behind bars, man. We'd be so far behind bars, we wouldn't even be able to see sunlight for some of the crap that these people pull off. So we see the double-sided justice. We need to put people up there who can see it as well and say, buck stops here, pal. You're wrong and you're going to pay. That's what we need.
I could tell you're very, very passionate about this. Now, was there a time and place where you would be like doing radio or podcasting about other subject matter?
Yeah.
Things that had nothing to do with politics?
Yeah, but this is I have a personal investment in this. I have friends of mine didn't come back from the war. They died over there. I have friends of mine that came back and they shared with me intimately. It was almost like being there with them without the threat of being killed. It was almost like they described everything. It was horrible. There were times when they were fired upon and they couldn't fire back. It doesn't make any, you're in a war. Why can't you fire back? Because it's the rubber fields. The rubber fields are owned by Michelin. This is what never made any sense to me. I'm under fire and I can't shoot back. If I shoot back, I'm going to get an Article 15, which is like a strike against you. So I had a lot of friends that didn't come back. And then the ones that did come back, they're pretty messed up.
So you definitely weren't a hippie.
I was.
You were?
I was going to be drafted. I didn't want to take a rifle and kill somebody. So I joined the Air Force. I thought, hey, I'll join the Air Force. One of the most benign. I was so wrong. Oh my God, I was so wrong. I was naive. I was ignorant. I didn't know. I figured, well, the Air Force, I'm not going to be killing anybody in the Air Force. We killed hundreds of thousands of people in the Air Force because instead of having a gun, we had bombs. And we dropped more bombs in Vietnam than we dropped in World War II. How many people did we kill over there? We don't know. I don't know. Nobody ever told us. All we know is about the people coming back. This is how many, supposedly 56,000 was the number that they gave us. I don't believe it for a minute. I believe it's a lot more than that. So it's a personal thing for me. My friends died believing that we were fighting for freedom, for the freedom of you and I to make a choice. We have a responsibility. When you get in your car and you have the choice to drive your car down the road, you have a responsibility. You drive that car ethically. You drive that car morally. You don't go running around like it's a racetrack, endangering your life and most people, endangering your life and other people's lives. It's the same thing with this, what's going on today.
What about smoking weed? Am I allowed to smoke weed and drive?
Knock yourself out. It's the same thing with what's going on today with our government. They are not following the rules. They are making their own rules up as we go along. And we are in the detriment of all of that. We're the ones who suffer, not them. And the way they want to make it permanent is for us to lose all of our rights eventually. There is a massive, the evil is just so sick and twisted. It's hard to imagine. When I discovered that the war that I was involved in, February of 2002, when I discovered that war was based on a lie, I'm doing research because 9/11 never set right with me. I didn't know anything about anything. All I knew is I was talking to my brother on the phone. I said, look at the building. And he says, look at what? I go, look at it. It just looks weird. The building is like peeling apart.
You see that right there behind you? On the 9/11 was an inside job. You see that?
Oh, yeah. Well, the building was like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know about I can't think of the word now. Only the military uses it. Anyway, I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. All I knew is what I saw didn't look right. The building, why didn't the building come down like this instead of coming apart like this? It just didn't make sense. So it didn't set right with me. So I followed the news day in and day out. I mean, like every waking moment I had, this was a burning fire inside of me. I had the news. Something told me something wasn't right. Something from that point forward, something wasn't right. Mm-hmm. And I followed it. In December, 8 or 9, 10, 12 weeks later, I don't remember, they're still changing their boots every 3 hours on site because the ground is so hot, it's melting the rubber boots. How can that be from jet fuel? How is that possible?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm researching. I come across this site and it leads me to another site. I end up on a government site and it's all about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which is what led to the Vietnam War. And it says basically, I'm paraphrasing, but it says basically the whole thing was made up. They needed it to go to war for various reasons.
I learned that in history class in college.
No way.
Yeah.
When I found out, I almost had a nervous breakdown. Because here we are killing people for a lie, Bobby, for a lie.
Yeah, and there's a lot of instances like that, right? Also, all in the Spanish-American War, that supposedly we took over or sunk that, or somebody sunk our ship. The Spanish sunk our ship, right, or something like that. That was a yellow
slide.
Journalism as well. Yeah. So there's been a lot of history of that.
But they keep it from us. They don't want you to know about that, because if you know about that, then you question the next time that it comes up. As soon as they said we're going into Afghanistan, I went, why? Why are we going? What danger does Afghanistan present to the United States? That much danger. So why are we going? What's the justification? Didn't stop them, then went. And then the next thing was Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction, Bobby. Weapons of mass destruction are everywhere, right?
Yeah.
We know they had weapons of mass destruction. We sold them to them. He used them on the Iranians when he fought on. It was a 10-year war that he fought with the Iran. They were pretty much used up between him and Iran. They were pretty much gone. So they knew they were gone, but we went anyway.
Now, Bush was a total scum, right?
That's giving him credit.
And so we're able to look on both sides of the aisle and notice the scum on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely.
What was the difference between that and Trump, though? And by the way, would you like a water?
No, I'm good right now.
Okay.
The difference between Bush and Trump?
Like, are you a Trump guy?
I support Trump. I'm probably a 98% in support of Trump. There's a couple of things he's done that I don't know why. Maybe he was misled. I don't know.
He was, do you think he was like outside of this, like, you know, it's always Republican, Democrat, and you could really tell who the people are who are just slime, right?
Yeah.
And it's on both sides of the aisle, but for some reason, I really feel like Trump was genuine and really wanted to try to help us.
I see Trump kind of sort of like the Moses story, kind of sort of parallel. He was with all these people. He partied with all these people. He knew all these people. He went to their children's weddings. He gave them presents. He gave them money. So he was intimate with these people with regard to relationships, you know? So he knew how they were, except for I don't believe he knew about the adrenochrome, about the children. I don't think he knew about that. I think he had an idea, but I don't think he really knew about that.
Wow, that's how red-pilled you are.
Oh, yeah.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah.
The first time I heard that word was in that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie, and Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
I don't know. You saw that movie?
No,
they
but
talk
I've seen
about
bits and pieces. Yeah.
Talk about doing adrenochrome.
They release what they're going to do many times.
What does
movies.
adrenochrome do?
From what I understand, it gives them the ultimate high. There is no other high that is comparison to adrenochrome.
And who's they?
The elite, the ultra elite. This is the drug of the super, super wealthy. You know, I understand it costs, I think it's in the thousands of dollars for a gram or something like that, or an ounce. Maybe it's an ounce. But it's extremely expensive. It's far more expensive than any drug that's on the street.
Yeah, it's the most expensive, most potent drug on Earth.
Yeah, that they know
and
of.
And the only way they make it is through extracting the adrenaline glands of a raped dying child or something like that. They have to be tortured in order to take it out of them.
They terrorize the individual, preferably a female.
Oh, female.
Preferably, but they'll do either.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe because of the estrogen. I don't know. I have no idea. But preferably a female, but they'll do either one. They terrorize them until they're almost literally dying from terror. At that point, they're harvested, their blood is taken, and they drink the blood later on.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's sick. It's twisted. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And were you paying attention to Alex Jones back in the day when he went to Bohemian Grove and everything like that? Yeah.
Yeah. That was
what do you think about the movie Eyes Wide Shut?
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen Eyes Wide Shut?
No, there's a lot of movies I don't watch anymore.
Eyes Wide Shut, you got to see that. It's it's almost like Stanley Kubrick was trying to tell us something, but it's like all really eerie the way that they wear the masks in this party. All these super ultra elite, like you're saying. And they're having like orgies and
I've seen clips of that. Is that where they poop? That somebody craps on the floor and as they go eat it or something like that?
No.
It was some disgusting.
But that sounds like a great movie too.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I see bits and pieces, but I don't. I haven't been to a movie and I can't tell you years. Probably close to a decade. I just don't. I don't do it.
I don't really either. I haven't been to that many movies.
I don't want to patronize those people. Once you realize that. When you go to a movie, you may get that enjoyment for a brief period of time, but you're patronizing people who literally want to see you dead. And eventually, that's the end result.
And also, they have product placements within the film, right? To basically just to brainwash you or whatever. So, okay. Society is a social construct that we're just creatures on this earth, and we just created this in order to get our minds off the fact that we're going to die someday. That's what I believe.
That's not bad. That's not bad. What's sad is when you see that there's another possibility with regard to what's going on today, that there's another. I think of when I was growing up, you asked if I was a hippie. One of the most popular groups was the Beatles, and coming out of the Beatles was John Lennon. And John Lennon wrote a song called Imagine. And I believe that when he wrote that song, he believed that the world could be that way one day if the right attitude and the mentality took over. If we get away from, even John Lennon said the world is being run by psychopaths. If we get away from these people, if we can bring these people to justice, that's the problem. How often would you obey the law if you openly broke the law and the law says, okay, it's all right, don't do it again, you know? When I break the law, they put me up for trial, and they would probably, if they don't murder me physically, they would murder me financially because it would cost me so much to stay out of jail, I would just end up giving up. So that's the difference that's going on today. Until these people that are doing these things are brought to justice, it's only going to get worse. It's a cancer.
Yeah. God, I smoke too much weed. Oh my God. I mean, so RISCALLA, that name, you said that name, that's your first name, right? You said that was, what's the background on that?
It's Egyptian.
Egyptian.
It's Arabic for RISCALLA.
So are you Muslim?
No.
Islam or whatever?
Christian.
Do you have it in the background or anything like that?
No.
There's a lot of, there's Christian, it's like
There's
primarily in
Christians.
Egypt.
Oh,
Is it the primary?
My background, my brother-in-law is a Coptic Christian, and the Coptic church is the church that was started by Jesus Christ in Egypt.
Really?
Yeah. And my brother-in-law's bloodline is of the pharaohs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Freaky stuff.
Yeah. That's a cool name to have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. You were talking about the weed. I wanted to mention something.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
When I was growing up, if we got caught with the amount of weed that you have right now,
Yes.
we would probably go to prison.
Oh my God. Hasn't
I'm
times
serious.
changed? Isn't it beautiful?
I'm serious as a heart
now
attack.
you could live stream yourself doing that. Isn't that great? We really do. I mean, things get nuts. All the stuff that you've seen in your life, God, you've seen. So, I wanted to talk about this, about your generation, the 6.8 level generation. Those people on the 6.8 level, you guys were completely brainwashed by screens from day one. You were the first generation to get completely brainwashed.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if the first. but
No.
Maybe the first to be completely brainwashed, but I don't think we were the first to be brainwashed.
No, the first to be completely brainwashed by screens. Because you had that screen that was invented right there during your lifetime, and you're sitting there, plop there, watching your 3 stations and black and white, right? And there was nothing you nowhere you could go. You just had to get it from that, and they got you, and they got you your whole life. And it's the boomers are really transfixed with the TV and things like that. It's amazing that you have weaned yourself off the TV.
You know
really.
what Frank Zappa said about TV?
What?
You ever hear what Frank Zappa said about TV?
What did he say?
I am gross and perverted. I'm obsessed and deranged. I've existed for years, and very little has changed. I'm a tool of the government and industry too. I'm destined to rule and regulate you. I may be vile and pernicious, but you can't look away. I make you think I'm delicious with the crap that I say. Have you guessed me yet? I'm the best you can get. I'm the shit coming out of your TV set.
Oh my God! Listen.
Now I paraphrase that,
and I thought that I was the rhyme guy. Look at you!
Yeah,
wow.
I did a lot of Frank Zappa when I was in service. It took my mind off of because it's so crazy music. It just doesn't make any sense.
Frank Zappa's a totally crazy music.
He was an amazing guy. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
but it took my mind off of the stress because it had nothing. It wasn't about love. Well, it was kind of, but it was just
music
crazy.
really doesn't have like a set, verse, chorus, whatever it is. It's just like all over the place, right?
Yeah. But that's what I liked about it because it wasn't like it was rock and roll, which I liked, but it didn't make any sense. And that's what I needed. I didn't need, because I couldn't make any sense of what was going on around me. It's just crazy. So yeah, I listened to a lot of, probably 2 years worth of Frank Zappa. Any free moment I had, I'd get out some weed and fire at Frank Zappa.
Well, I should have had you do the intro, man. That was really good. You did really good. Listen, you have a good radio voice too.
Oh, thank you.
You have like a classic radio voice. Did anybody ever tell you that?
Yeah, I get told. They wanted me to be a DJ many, many years ago. I had a friend of mine who was a DJ for Y100, I think it was, down in Miami. And I called in one day. He goes, I want you to come in the studio. I went in the studio. We did a voice thing. He says, I want you to be a DJ. Really want to. I said, no, just not up my alley. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't prepared for it at the time. So I kept doing what I was doing. I was managing Radio Shack at the time. I kept
Oh
doing that.
my God. You're
Yeah.
a manager in a Radio Shack. We have so much in common, RISCALLA.
Yeah.
Isn't it retarded? I'm sorry. Listen, no, we do. I manage a Verizon Wireless. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Verizon Wireless is very similar, I think, to Radio Shack. It's just like it's retail,
Yeah.
and like there's gadgets and stuff, and you're interacting with people, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And another thing is we're in the printing business, correct?
Well, I repair printers. Was out repairing a couple of them today. Yeah.
Look at that, and we print here,
Yeah. So you know where to go if you have an issue
and we
with
do
the
a
printer.
podcast.
Yeah, and I do my radio show. Actually, it's a radio show.
It's a radio show. No,
Yeah.
what is the radio show broadcasted on? What
It's on WTRMradio.com. It's internet radio. And you can find it at the redpillrealityshow.com, WTRMradio.com, Facebook. Click on Contact Us, and you can listen to us live. And then we have an app. You can download the app, WTRM Radio,
Nice.
and you can listen to anything on the network. It's free. There's no adware, no spyware. There's no push notifications. Just an easy way to listen to the network where you don't have to worry. You know, when you download this stuff, there's always something that you get some garbage in the background, some ads. We don't have any of that. None of that at
And you
all.
live here in sunny South Florida, like me, and you alluded to it before. You're part of all this politicking that's going on around here. This local politicking, like
Yeah.
the Floridians First movement. I know we have a mutual friend, right?
Yep.
Chris Marino.
Yep.
Great guy.
Yep.
Stand-up guy, fireman all his life, right?
Chris
Just
has
awesome
really helped
person.
a lot with getting me content for the show, bringing people up. What I've tried
I believe
to
he heads the Floridians first in
yeah,
Broward
a variety
as well.
of people from there. What I wanted to do with the show is to bring people to the knowledge. I don't want people to think like me. I just want people to think. I want you to think on your own. God has given you logic. God has given you rationale. Use the two of those. When you hear this stuff repeated over and over and over on the television set, you should be thinking, why are they constantly pounding me with this? You still hear about COVID day in and day out. There aren't enough people vaccinated. Why? If the virus is 99+% recoverable without medical intervention, why are we pushing for a vaccine so strongly? If there's other therapies that are available, which they've tried to talk down, and they've done so successfully until recently, till the vaccine came out, then they didn't.
Or
Then
like
it didn't
Cuomo
matter.
saying you're not allowed to have any, I don't want to say the word. but Cuomo saying you're not allowed to have any,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
but, yeah. God.
See,
but
this
you're
is
down-
why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I can't pass this on to my kids or my grandchildren. What kind of world is they going to live in? They won't have any freedom left by the time they grow up. It'll be completely gone.
Oh, this is what I want to say. Okay. We all what made you be able to sniff out the bullshit? I think some people, I don't know what it is, and I'm going to use myself as an example. When, we are creatures, man, the human being, oh God, we're not even an animal. That's it. We're just a creature. But the people that are multi-billionaires know how to game the human
Yeah,
animal.
sadly.
They know all the intricacies of how we act.
Yeah.
And I learn more and more as I grow older and
Same
notice
here.
and stuff.
Same
But I
here.
remember back in the day in 2008 during the housing bubble, I remember specifically knowing instinctively that all of these people that were buying houses and everything like that, and I was one of them. I bought a house, but I
my
knew
neighbor.
it was just bullshit.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
And it's like, whenever you see the masses going this way, you should probably go that way. You should be a natural contrarian,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep. What started it for me was, like I told you, February of 2002. I was looking for something completely different, stumbled across that document. And from that point forward, I questioned everything. I think that's a part of the challenge today. People don't question. Dr. Fauci said, wear 2 masks. If people start wearing 2 masks, they don't even, why? Does that mean if I wear 2 swimsuits, I can pee in the pool? Come on, man. Let's get real here. It's ridiculous.
Oh, 1 second. I just noticed one thing. Keep going.
Just leave me hanging. This is called baptism by fire. Throw him to the wolves.
Yeah.
So he's gone and I have to take over. But if you think about what's happening today, and if you want a solution to what is happening today, the solution is, I believe, valid solution is to start at the local level. That's where it has to start. It has to be at the local level so that we have people of integrity, people who are honest, people who are going to follow their oath. And once I learned something many years ago, when I told you I worked for Radio Shack, I started out as a manager trainee. The first guy that trained me, the first thing he taught me was take care of the pennies. If you'll take care of the pennies, The dollars will automatically take care of themselves. I use that analogy for the politics. If we can take care of it at the local level, everything above that will begin to take care of, because we'll have the foundation in place. They won't be able to shake the foundation. That's what's happening. They couldn't get away with what they got away with if they didn't have help from the local level. All those kids, everybody's a kid to me. All those women scanning those ballots over and over and over again. If you had somebody in place of that person who had integrity and was honest and said, I'm not going to do this. I don't care how much you pay me. They wouldn't have been able to get away with it.
Do you believe Trump won? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me
Without
too.
question.
Me too.
It was probably the biggest landslide in the history and the politics of this country.
You think so?
Absolutely.
God. Isn't it terrible
It's
that we have to
soon to
deal
be
with
found
this?
out, too. They're not able to. You see what's going on? Arizona.
Are you a Q person?
A who?
Q.
A Q. A Q. When you say Q, I think CUE, like a. No. I've read about them. I don't know what to make of them. I've heard it's fake. I've heard it's real. I've heard reputable people say it's real. I've heard reputable people say it's fake. I don't know. But I know that some of the stuff that they say comes to pass.
It would be a great story, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So
if it was true, it would be such a great story.
Maybe it's what they call controlled opposition, where they tell you the truth, but they control
Do you
how much
think
they
that
tell
there's
you.
any chance that Trump is controlled opposition?
Nothing would surprise me anymore. Nothing
Because
would surprise me.
what I mean, do you think that he maybe came out? I mean, he was there to like just get us to take the vaccine.
That is, you remember I said 98%? The other 2% is, I don't understand to this day why he's telling people the vaccine is safe. Vaccine is not safe. Not by any stretch of the imagination. When they tested the vaccine on animals, they tested it, one of the animals was ferrets. Every ferret died. Not every other one, not a couple. Every ferret died. How they died is really the disturbing part. They didn't die from the vaccine. They got vaccinated. They were fine. There wasn't anything wrong with them. When they were subjected to the virus that they were vaccinated for, their body turned against them. It was a cruel and very painful death for them.
Yeah, my grandfather just recently passed away. Yeah,
Sorry.
89 years old, 2 weeks till 90, and he died of COVID.
Did he die of COVID or with COVID?
He died of all right. He died of COVID and he had pneumonia too. I know numerous people that have gotten both. One other person died. The other person had to go to the hospital.
Did they put him on a ventilator?
He refused to take the ventilator.
Good.
He fought it right to the end. Right at the end where he was just on the regular breathing machine and he was like this. And
you know the sad part that they won't allow people to use?
But he had taken the vaccine.
See, what did I tell you?
Before that, didn't take the I don't know. I know one thing though. I was like one of these deniers. I thought that COVID was fake. I totally did. I was even, I even organized an anti-mask flash mob at the mall. And we all went through the mall with no masks on, so I was like the biggest person who just wanted to deny it 100% that it was even going on. And I think it's kind of childish actually now thinking back on it. It's like, I kind of feel like, wow, maybe I wanted to deny it just because I didn't want to have my life interfered with. I wanted to keep living the way I want to live.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty disturbing what they did.
But now when that hits home, because I know 3 people now who've gotten it and have had a pretty bad effect. 2 out of those 3, 2 died, and then 1 went to the hospital. And like, other than my grandfather, who was old, that was the only thing. But he was completely healthy, and everybody else was healthy too.
I have 8 friends who have had it without medical intervention.
But like the other people were super healthy. I mean,
Yeah.
Model of health, one person. It's crazy.
8 friends that have had it without medical intervention. One of them said, I felt like I was going to die. He didn't. Felt like I was going to die, sick as a dog. He said, I've never been so sick in all my life. But he didn't die. So out of the 8, all 8 made it.
See, that's another thing though. You know what they do? And I've been through this with my father too. My father passed away and they do this. But anyway, whenever like somebody is getting ready to die, they start giving you morphine and winding you down and getting ready for death. Why would they give you morphine if you have COVID and you're trying to get off? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. And that inhibits your breathing. They definitely, when they're I feel like if he didn't go to the hospital, he probably would have survived.
You probably have a better chance of surviving. You know that
although
for 2019 and 2020, the cases of pneumonia, just regular flu, not pneumonia, just a regular flu, were down by like 99%. Where did all the cases go? They went to COVID. They purposely inflated the numbers so that they could, quote, justify all of the draconian actions that they took.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who were dying of heart attacks, and they test them. Oh, he's got COVID. He died of COVID. He didn't die. He died with COVID.
There's definitely something to the COVID.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't doubt that.
I thought it was complete. I was completely.
Here's the thing.
All BS.
They haven't been able to isolate it. That's part of the problem. From what I understand, they have not been able to isolate the actual virus itself. They've been able to mimic it through a laboratory. I can't think of the word. A dish where they think that's what it's supposed to be, and they've been able to mimic it. But they haven't been able to actually isolate the virus itself. That's only part of the problem. The second part of the problem is even the flu kills people. I don't know how many thousands of people a year die just from the flu because they've already got pre-existing conditions. It's like you're teetering, right? And then the flu comes along and knocks you off. That's what happens. So all of those people that died of the flu, they weren't listed as people that died of the flu. They were listed as COVID deaths. So we were lied to all along. From the very beginning, and within 3 days of this thing going on, as soon as they started this social distancing and wearing masks crap, I said, something's wrong. Mm-hmm. And they're going to try to make me to wear a mask? That ain't going to cut it. That's a slap to my face.
I got another one for that one. I think that the powers that be, all those ultra elite people, mm-hmm. they just don't like being breathed on by us peasants. So when they go out to eat or something
that's useless eaters.
Right? What? Ooh, they breathe on me, on the food and everything like that. I wish they would get them to wear masks all the time. Like, wouldn't that be a brilliant way to make us
it's
do
like that movie where he puts his sunglasses on. I can't remember what the name of the movie. Oh, what is the name?
You can't remember any movies, and you make me remember everything. What? And I'm not even good at that.
This is how far back I go. He puts the glasses. Roddy Piper. And
They live.
They live. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We need to get some of them glasses.
I love that movie. I was going to put that into the poem too, some of that. Because that is almost like a documentary.
Isn't that very much like what's going on today with people who are quote, awake and people who are asleep?
Absolutely.
And then the Bible talks about there's going to be a separation, the wheat from the tares. And I see the separation happening, even in families where families are fighting with each other over the vaccine, those who know and those who don't know. And then we find out that people who are vaccinated, who are around people who are not vaccinated, are giving the unvaccinated people side effects of the vaccination. Have you heard about that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. If you're around somebody long enough who's been vaccinated, if you like work with them day in or day out, or maybe it's your life partner and you're intimate with them.
This is terrifying.
Yeah. The vaccine was manufactured in such a way that it will spread like the virus.
All right,
that's how sick and twisted these people are, Bobby.
Where are we gonna run to? That's what I'm asking now. Okay, all these people, they prep and stuff like that. What if we have to go somewhere else? Go to another country or something? We have to flee somewhere.
Where are you going to run? The whole world is being vaccinated. The whole world, they want to. You listen to Bill Gates. He wants to literally vaccinate the entire planet of the world. Where are you going to go?
Wow.
If these doctors that are saying people who are vaccinated are shedding, they're giving off this spike protein, which is what the vaccine tells your body to do, to manufacture this spike protein to fight off the spike protein of the coronavirus. Okay. The problem is there's no off switch. It's on all the time. Your body's constantly manufacturing this spike protein. So inevitably your body's full of spike proteins. What happens when you get around somebody else? You're shedding spike proteins. You're shedding the virus, the vaccination itself onto somebody else.
What if Trump was just in here just to get the people that are natural contrarians,
mm-hmm.
just to get them on board?
I trust him to a point as best as
are they that good at manipulation to where they at that level? Could they really?
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. Do you know, I'll tell you some things about Trump that caused me to trust him more than, generally speaking, these other people. He came from a background that his grandmother, I think it was on his mother's side or his father, I don't remember now. One of the sides of his parents, their last name was Christ. Yeah, and he has a Bible that came from I think it was Ukraine. A Bible that came from a revival. That this area this village that it came from had been downtrodden, and just everybody was down in the dumps. And all of a sudden, these two women who got so old they couldn't go to church anymore, started having church at home, and this big revival happened. And this Bible, and the young man that they gave it to, his name was Donald as well. They gave it to this young man named Donald, and they all put their names in this Bible. It's a revival Bible. And I don't know the rest of the story exactly, but it ended up in Trump's hands. And when Trump was in office, that Bible was in office. So these are some of the things that caused me to believe that he's more trustworthy than any of the other rat pastors that are up there. How far? I don't know. 100%? No, I don't trust any of them 100%. I don't know. He has to prove himself to me. One thing that happened that I don't understand to this day, he walked away from this fraudulent election. As badly as they want people to believe that there was nothing wrong with that election, the evidence is overwhelming. It's overwhelming that's coming out now. They can't stop what's coming out. And he walked away without fighting. It's not in his character. So that's remember, 98%. One was the vaccine. Two is, why did he walk away like that? Why did he just walk away quietly? You see, now this month he's going to start with the rallies. But up until now, he's been quiet. You haven't heard, he hasn't been, of course, he's not on Twitter anymore, but he hasn't been on anything else. And he has his son that does stuff for him. He has, can't think of the young lady's name, who, oh God, why can't I think of it?
Ivanka?
Huh?
Ivanka?
Not Ivanka, not his daughter. It's another lady. It's a public relations lady.
Okay.
That would tweet for him because she still had her account. You don't hear about any. None of the mainstream media has anything to bitch about with regard to Trump anymore. But yet they keep bringing him up, right? In an effort to keep their ratings up. Their ratings are tanking. I believe people are finally beginning to understand how badly we've been deceived about so many things. Not just the election, not just the people that are representing us, not just our government, about everything, our history, religion, everything we've been lied to. There is no, it's like a...
What kind of research do you do?
What kind of research?
Do you prepare yourself for your show? Do you do research?
Yeah, I'll do research during the week. I'll spend probably 4 to 5 hours during the week looking at different things, wide variety of things, because I see a whole variety of things. And then when I get on, if I'm doing sometimes I do a monologue. I do a 3-hour monologue. Oh yeah. So if I'm doing that, I'll look at the things that I've looked at all the week long and I tie them all together in a monologue.
Are you aware that I was the person that called in during the Proud Boy
Yeah, I found out later on.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were being a smart ass. And that's why I said, I think, well, I'll hang up on your ass or something like that. Yeah, they told me later on.
I wish you didn't hang up right there.
Well,
I didn't want to derail it. No, I just wanted to really fast, like a photo bomb.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in there and say that really quick and then hang up.
And I wasn't prepared for it.
I wasn't trying to stop the whole thing or anything like that. But then I heard it back and I heard where it just kind of like oh, now we're going to commercial and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to a break.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, that's all right. I've had worse. It's when I get the unidentified calls. That's when I'm reluctant to take the call because I don't know who it is. Not that I need to know who it is, but if they get smart with me and I have the phone number, I can block the number. If it comes in as unidentified, I can't block an unidentified number.
Yeah, no, I know. You said Bobby.
Yeah, yours came across as Bobby Pickles. And I thought that was Bobby
Next time you'll know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you like these Proud Boys that you had on, you interviewed, right? I'm a Proud Boy as well.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Proud Boys?
I think that the mentality that they carry is much needed today. Much needed. They're basically not going to take any crap. They're not out to give crap, but they're not going to take any crap. And if you start crap, you better watch out because they're not.
FAFO.
Yeah. Huh?
That's one of fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I play the Proud Boy song.
You do? What song?
Yeah, it's I can't remember
Western
the name of the artist.
by Ty Richards.
It's like a country song and it's got a little rap in it as well.
Okay.
I can't think of the artist's name.
I think that's it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I play that every once in a while. We play that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important that they got a bad rap. It's like you think about, again, the deception. You want to talk about deception. This is everybody knows about. I don't think anybody doesn't know about this. Pit bulls are dangerous, Bobby. Pit bulls will eat your face off. How long had that been? To the point where they were literally banning that breed from different cities and stuff because they were so afraid of pit bulls, right? That's how bad the deception is. So that alone should tell people I need to be asking questions. I met a pit bull yesterday. It's the sweetest dog in the world. They used to take care of babies. People trusted these dogs so much they would literally leave them with their toddlers. If anybody threatened that toddler, God have mercy on that body because that dog will eat him up. He won't hurt the toddler, but he'll protect that toddler with his life. But the reason I bring it up is because that's how deep the deception goes. How many people are out there still believe, oh my God, you got a pit bull? Don't come to my house or don't bring him near me. He's dangerous. This is a bunch of nonsense. We have to question. Once we stop questioning is when we've lost. That's just my opinion. If you stop questioning what is going on, you have lost. Because the whole reason of doing what they're doing is to keep you confused. The longer they can keep you confused and in fear, the more that they remain in power. The one thing that scares the bejeebies out of them is for us to no longer fear each other. That would cause them to change their underwear on a regular basis. Once we unite as a people, we're far more of us than there are of them. Like I said earlier, there's a hell of a lot more of us than, when I say of us and them, I'm us meaning people who want to abide by the Constitution, people who want this country to go back to the original way that it was intended to be. That's what I mean by us. Them are the ones who want to fundamentally change our country. That's code for we want to go back to socialism. We want to introduce fascism or some kind of technocity that where the corporations, which is what's happening now, are taking over.
Joseph McCarthy was right.
Sadly.
He was a man before his time.
Sure.
When I look back on all those old school, like Roy Cohn interviews or something like that, or William F. Buckley or something like that, and then I see all that
I used to think they were nuts. Oh my God, what an idiot.
Yeah.
That's how naive and ignorant I was.
Me too.
Huh.
And I think that we're just taught that too, because I had a boomer parent, right? I had boomer parents, and they taught me that. I mean, they were hippies, kinda, and well, one was and wasn't. But they we were raised to think like Nixon was bad. Yeah. Now I look back and I'm like, wow, is Nixon good? Oh my God!
In comparison to what's going on,
yeah, because we were raised a certain way to think like this liberal indoctrination, kind of
exactly,
and that happened over the course of a couple generations, right?
Yeah.
It's like that Russian dude talks about. What is it called? Well, normalization, and stuff like that. How they just. The KGB guy, there's a KGB guy. You ever see that? You know what I'm talking about? Now I can't remember. His name's Yuri Bezmov.
Oh, I know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And
I haven't seen him in quite a while. Yeah.
The way that he breaks it down, that's exactly what happened to America. They got in here. As you can see, my friend, right here, I have a University of Florida degree with English. I was an English major. I was completely indoctrinated into liberalism.
Oh, my God.
I lived in New York City.
Oh, geez.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Look at New York City today.
Look at it
How many people are fleeing New York City? Yep. Sadly, coming here.
Can't believe it. It's awesome.
Making it rough. I'm going to Florida where it's free.
Yeah. Listen, when I came down here a couple of years ago, okay, I came down here like 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And, but I grew up in Florida, but then I went back because my parents were from up there. Yeah. So I went and lived up there for a stint. And then came back down here, but I came back on this side. I grew up on the other side. Anyway. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go to Florida. I was coming down for a business opportunity, but I didn't want to go because the podcasting that I was doing, it was easy to get really great guests up there. New York metro area, very easy. There's all these movers and shakers. Bands usually come through and tour at least twice a year. Wow. They'll hit New York. Yeah. So I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to leave here and go down to Florida. But this is actually not that bad. So, and all of this happened like with the Proud Boys and everything. Yeah. I was caught up in this like movement. It just happened around me and stuff. And I'm part of the chapter where the president, our local chapter president became the international chairman, Enrique Tarrio. Wow. And I knew him like when he was just a dickhead. Yeah. just like everybody else, And so it was just really cool to see that. It's amazing how what happens in life, huh? How God does certain things. Do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yep, absolutely. Don't believe in religion.
Do you believe that you can kind of like do whatever you want as long as you like start thinking about it and like?
I think it's where your heart is. It really looks at where your heart is.
You can like really shape your life. It's like a video game, or like maybe we're in a simulation or something like that.
There are people there's scientists who believe we're in a simulation. They think that everything is a hologram around us. Hell of a hologram, because if I bang my head on that table, it's going to hurt. Mm-hmm. But that's what they believe. And I read recently that they now have holograms you can touch. How crazy is that? Yeah. They have 7D holograms, right? You're familiar with that?
Well, the fish can only knows 2D or something like that, and then the hook comes down, grabs them, boom, and then, oh, look at this, welcome to 3D, motherfucker. So we only know 3D shit.
Oh my God. No, there's holograms.
How many dimensions do we know? Do we have?
I don't
3?
know. I don't know. There's far more than 3. But I can tell you that
the human creature
technology has been released to the public that they can make they can make an elephant appear in a room. And then, of course, you can't touch him, but you can see him, you know. Now they're working on hologram that you can touch. That's how crazy it's getting.
Yeah, you know what? I have started saying this recently. I just like randomly during the day look up. I go, guys, we're living in the future.
You look up in the sky?
No, I just like start looking around, whatever. I'll probably be printing. I'm like, we're living in the damn future. Or we're like talking about something, or we got Alexa on. There's something going on.
Yeah.
And some, you know, all this crazy stuff is happening. We are living in the future now.
For people who don't believe that there is a plan in place.
Where do you think we're going to be later? Oh my God.
Can you imagine if these doctors are right about the people who took the vaccine? This one doctor says there's no turning back for them. Once they get vaccinated, their life it's like a time bomb. Their life is on a time bomb. Somewhere in the next 2 to 5 years, we're going to have a massive death. And he says they shouldn't bury the bodies, should incinerate the bodies. Can you imagine what that's going to be like?
Oh my God.
There's 40% of the United States now has been vaccinated. If this man is right, this man is the same man.
But they give you free ice cream.
And $1 million.
Or they do a lottery.
This man is the same man who got the...
now, don't you think they're just doing that for the good of humanity, that we all survive, so we all take the vaccine and we all live?
Say it again, is what?
You don't think that they're enticing us with lotteries and ice cream and pizza and hamburgers and french fries because they want us just all to survive, you know, and they want us all to take the vaccine?
No. They're 180 degrees from that.
Yeah.
They want us to die. And they're so hell-bent on killing us.
What do you think about the Georgia Guidestones?
That's what I was about to mention. They're so hell-bent on killing us, they've engraved it in stone. And they're dead serious about it. Sadly, the problem is these are psychopaths. They're evil. Some people call them Luciferians. Some people call them Satanists. They're probably all of the above. But the sad part about it is they have the financial power to make this come to pass. That's what's the dangerous part about all of this is. You can have somebody who's a psychopath, who's crazy and is poor and doesn't have money. They're limited to what they can do. And these people are literally unlimited as to what they can start wars if they want to start a war. They had some of them. One particular family, the Rothschilds, has more money than countries have. More money than a country. Can you imagine your family having more money? What's to stop you from doing anything? Anything. You want to go kill, you want to hunt humans? You get off on hunting humans? You go hunt humans. It's going to stop you. You have more money than anybody. You know that there was a movie out there where they hunted a young black man. I don't remember the name of it. They found this young black man who was homeless, didn't have any family, and he was uber rich guys again. And they told him, hey, listen, we got a job for you. We go camp on this island, and we want you to be our gopher man. You're like a janitor, you know, you're going to do the cooking and blah, 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 blah. He's, oh, yeah, how much are you going to pay me? They're going to pay him a handsome amount to go do this. It wasn't about any of that. They got him there, and they hunted him. They told him what they were going to do once they got him there. They literally hunted him. And I believe, like I told you before, they will tell us what they're doing through videos, through movies. You look up...
because they have to, right?
They have to tell us what they're going to do before they do it. Yeah. Because our silence is their consent. Whether we know about it or not isn't important.
That Time Magazine article about a cabal of, people got together in order to change all the election laws. Basically rigged the election. They told us they did it.
Yeah.
They said cabal.
They will tell you what they're going to do. There's a pilot program called The Lone Gunman. Watch The Lone Gunman and see how that parallels to 9/11. Yet they said repeatedly, we never had any idea that they were going to use airplanes for weapons and fly airplanes into buildings. What a bunch of crap. That came out 6 or 8 months before 9/11. And in that pilot, they're taking an aircraft, they're going to fly it into the World Trade Center. Guess what? We're told over and over and over again. The Simpsons is another place that they tell you, right and left, The Simpsons. You see Trump coming down the escalator, right?
Yeah.
Trump comes down the escalator.
All right, what do you think about UFOs?
They're real. They're very real.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely. I have a friend of mine who used to work for NASA. And he claims, I don't know, I trust what he says. I believe what he says he believes is true. He says he's had conversations with ELOs.
So you definitely don't believe in flat Earth?
And what?
Flat Earth?
I don't think the Earth is flat. I don't understand what the argument. Let's just say the Earth is flat. Big deal. So what? Why are everything else in
Wouldn't that change a lot of things if the Earth was flat?
So what if it's flat? I don't care what it's flat around.
Do you know?
Personally,
Have you ever talked to any flat Earth people?
Oh yes, they've tried to convince me time and time again. My whole point in the argument is, why are we arguing about whether we live on a flat Earth or round Earth when we got the frickin' world caving in around us? Why aren't we putting our energy that we put into that into something more positive? Once we get all this shit straightened out, then you can talk to me about flat Earth. But until then, no, I don't want to know about it. I don't care. But again, logic. Why is every other planet out there a sphere? Why are we the only ones that are flat?
I know.
If it's flat, it's flat. God bless you. I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't matter to me. Whether it's flat or round doesn't make any difference. Right now, what makes a difference to me is to see to it that my children and my grandchildren have some kind of a positive future. You know, whether the Earth is flat or round has no bearing on that. You know?
So there's creatures from another planet, though, right? Coming here. What's a UFO?
There's a man named Zachariah Sitchin. You know who that is?
Yeah, that's the History Channel guy, right?
He's an individual. He's
the crazy
he passed
hair.
away. But
no.
he was one of few people who could read ancient texts. And he read this ancient text, and according to the ancient text, we were basically manufactured by aliens. That's the short of it, but that's basically what it is. We were made by aliens. We were genetically modified by some humanoid that was already here for them to supposedly mine gold for them. It's a long story, but that's basically what he came up with. And this ancient text is the oldest of all the texts. I can't remember what the name of the text is, but it's the oldest of all the texts. There's nothing older than this.
Really?
And this text supposedly reveals the story of how we started.
Oh my God, that sounds pretty plausible. But then, what about God?
God is an extraterrestrial.
Really? Okay, hold on. Let me take another hit of this.
Didn't God's Son say, "I am not of this earth"? My kingdom is not of this earth. Would that not make him an extraterrestrial? My father's kingdom is not of this earth. So my father is not of this earth. He's an extraterrestrial.
I don't know.
That makes sense?
Yeah, but why do we have to revere this person?
That's part of the system that's been put in place. See, I think that it wasn't one person. I think it was a multitude of people. In the Bible, it says, we have made man. Right? It doesn't say I have made man. It says we have made man as a reflection. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but basically as a reflection of God. But it says we. It doesn't say I. It doesn't say God made man in a reflection of God. It says we made man.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. In Genesis, it says we. So it was more than one. And if Zachariah Sitchin is correct, that all lines up because he said it was a group of people that came here from another planet. They needed gold. I don't remember the whole story. They needed gold for their planet for some reason, the atmosphere or something. And our planet has an abundance of gold. Whether you believe it or not, whether people believe it or not, our planet is loaded with gold. And gold is not a finite thing, just like oil is not a finite. They want you to believe these things, but that's not true. This planet is a living organism. It manufactures this stuff on a regular basis. The planet grows. It grows, physically grows like a human being. That may not be an accurate analogy, but it grows. It's not the same size today as it was thousands of years ago. It's bigger. Why? Because it's literally growing from the inside out. You have volcanoes that spew out all of that lava and stuff. Isn't that growing? Isn't that area? There's areas where there was only water that are now land. Isn't that growing? So the planet is constantly growing. The idea of limited amounts of energy and stuff like that, it's all for the price, to jack the price up. I mentioned to you earlier, Afghanistan. Why are we still in Afghanistan? I found out that it's a mineral that's used in cell phones. I can't think of the name of it right off the bat. Afghanistan has the largest mineral deposit of this mineral that is used extensively in all kinds of technologies, but a lot in cell phones. The largest place on the planet Earth is in Afghanistan, along with a few other things. But that really stuck out in my mind. And the first thing, when we went to Iraq, you know what the first thing they did? They took that man's gold. There's pictures of them of soldiers with literally, I don't know, probably tons of gold, just like in a huge room with gold all around them. That's the first thing they did. They tore down the museums. They tried to rip down the history of that country. The reason that we went to Iraq was for money. It wasn't to Iraqi freedom. Do you think those people are any free today? Then that's what it was called. I don't know if you remember. When we went over there, Iraqi freedom is what they called it. Those people aren't free. They're living in hell. We're partially, us, you and me, are partially responsible for that. Even though we're ignorant of, we may have been ignorant at the time of what went on, we still hold a responsibility. You have an accident with somebody and you hurt somebody, even though you didn't intend to do it, you're still partially responsible. I didn't intend for us to go over there, but I'm still partially responsible. This is some of the things that drives me. We have to get to the point in our lives that we realize, as citizens of this country, they're making us pay taxes. By the way, taxes, you're not supposed to pay taxes, but that's a whole nother story. But we pay taxes. What do they do with the money that we give them? They don't use it to help us, do they? They go start new wars. They do everything but help us with that money. All right. That means that the government has declared war on us. And they actually declared war when the Boston bombing occurred. Congress held a special session and declared the United States a battleground. Did you know that? They declared the contiguous United States a battleground. So who's the enemy? If I go to Iraq, who's the enemy? Am I the enemy or are the Iraqis the enemy? You see where I'm getting? They declared war on us, and it's been open war for quite some time. And it's more and more in your face, more and more now. With what happened with the election, with what's going on, we paid, I had a friend of mine who used to tease me, $1.75 a gallon up north somewhere, right? We're over $3 now here in Palm Beach County. We're over $3, and it's not even 120 days yet. We're not even 4 months into this guy. We're already at $1.20. Plywood. I had my doggy doors rotted out. I hadn't bought plywood in 15 years. I need a new piece of plywood. I need to use 3/4 inch plywood because he beats the snot out of this thing, right? 1/4 inch plywood won't do it. I go down to buy a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. I like to crap my pants. $100 for one, not for 10. I thought it was for 10 of them. I go, I just want to buy one. Yeah, that's for one. No, I just want one. Yeah, that's $95 for one. Now imagine how that carries out. The houses get more expensive, right? As the gasoline gets more expensive, the diesel gets more expensive. What goes on diesel? Our food, our building materials, everything is going to go up because of this guy. Everything. And there's no need for it. There's absolutely no need for it. Again, this is my passion in doing what I do. People have to get to the point where if we don't stop this, it's going to be you and me. It's not going to be Trump. God bless him. I appreciate everything he did. He's probably will go down in history as the greatest president to ever live. Probably the greatest leader of our time, of the whole world. Okay, so, but God bless him. He can't do it. Even he said, I can't do this by myself. I need your help. That's us. We need to do it. Not him, not to take anything away from him, but it's us. It's going to boil down to us. Again, why? We outnumber these people. Got to be thousands to one. Probably tens of thousands of us to one. Us, meaning we want our country back. Them, meaning they want to fundamentally change.
Listen, we need Manchurian candidates. We need a dino.
You already had one for president.
No, we need a Democrat in name only, a dino.
A dino.
We get them, we shape them, and then
I see.
We put them
the
up.
opposite of a rhino, a dino.
Yeah.
I love it.
We have to put them up, and then that's it. Like this.
But see, here's the thing. Even if we did and we put them in there, they'd sabotage him. Look what they did to the president. For 4 years, all they did is attack the guy. With all of the shit that they threw at him, he still was able to do what he was able to do. It's unbelievable. Imagine if they had people that worked with him. How much better our country would have been. The lowest unemployment rate, the highest in the stock market, respect around the world. North Korea allowed him to come into his come onto the North Korean property. Nobody's ever been able to do that. Nobody. All right.
I know.
3 peace accords going on
awesome.
4. 3 going on 4 in the Middle East. What do we got now? A raging fire. Thank you, Biden.
He's the worst. Yeah, if you voted for Biden, you owe me gas money.
I love it.
He is he is such a
But it's not him.
scam.
We know that. It's not. He's just a figurehead.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe all the things that we believe, like it goes so much deeper than that.
And what
about people that are? Do you believe that? I think you alluded to it before, but you didn't really touch on it. The whole sovereign thing. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that? Like
absolutely.
So because I think you said something about that.
Human beings are sovereign.
So they create a straw man for us.
Yeah.
When we're born.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then do they like take bets on how much they think that we're going to like accumulate?
The United States is a corporation.
Yes.
And we are stock of the corporation.
Stock. Yeah.
Our names are
traded us and stuff.
Are traded on the stock market. Our names are traded on the stock market. If you could have access to what has been put aside in your name, you would probably have millions of dollars right now. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. There's one friend of mine who has been at it for, we're 21, so it's 5 years now. He's been at it since 2016. He's been fighting them to get it because it's in his name. He's been trying to prove that here's part of the problem. They put your name in capital letters, which is, like you mentioned, is a straw man. Okay. I don't spell my name in capital letters. I only have one.
I do.
You every time you spell your name? Okay.
The whole thing. All three names.
Yeah, well, most people don't. Most people start with a capital and then lowercase. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to prove that because his.
If I always do it in capitals, do I retain the rights to it?
You would probably have an easier time than he does because your name is always in. If everything you do is in capitals, it's different. But most people don't do that. They start off with a capital and lowercase. Mm-hmm. That's what he's trying to prove now. For 5 years, he's been trying to prove that his name, that is a capital with lowercase, is the same name as all capitals going across. Once he can prove that, all that money belongs to him. And it's upwards of $100 million. He's 90 some odd years old.
Yeah. I've had one of those guys on before. I've interviewed somebody who's a sovereign person.
Yeah, well, it's been 5 years. I talked to him just a couple of days ago. He said, we're still going. We're still fighting. We're still doing. He's got some lawyers who are just hell-bent. They want to prove that this is true, that this is going on. And they can't let this happen because this is the floodgate. If this happens, the whole dam breaks on. That means if they did it for him, they got to do it for you, they got to do it for me, they got to do it for everybody else. There goes their money.
So these elite people, basically, I think they probably they bet on us, right? They trade us like stocks. They take our children and then they make adrenochrome, and then they manufacture diseases to kill us because they just want they don't even want a lot of people. Why does money even exist? You know, they just want to bring down the population so that they could just.
They want to turn it into a Disney World.
Have basically like heaven on earth for them. They
want a Disney World for adults. They want to be able to jet from one country to another. The technology exists today that you can get from one country to another in hours. Shouldn't like a couple of hours, not a 12-hour trip or anything like that. Literally within a couple of hours. But they're holding back on the technology. They don't want people to have that technology. We shouldn't be driving cars with 4 tires. We shouldn't be. I mean, just use logic. Look at what's happened with our cell phones. When my first cell phone literally was like a brick. It was a touch tone phone with a full handset on a motorcycle. It used a motorcycle battery. And it had unbelievable reception. It was extremely expensive, but the point being, it was like this big. I had to carry it in a suitcase. Okay, and what do we have today? Something that fits in my pocket. That was only a phone. What is this thing? This thing does everything for you. My God, it told me how to get here today. Right? It gave me directions. I can do so many. I can watch a movie. I can listen to music. I can talk to other people. I can text them. So many things. So how far has that technology come in comparison to auto technology? We're still using the same auto technology that we have for the last decade, last century, last 100 years. It hasn't changed. The internal combustion engine is over 100 years old. From its very incept, it's still basically the same. They've added a couple of things here and there, fuel injection, computer controlled, but it's all to help them. It's not to help us. When you have an engine that is computer controlled, you can't increase the mileage of your car. Not like when you have a carburetor and you can put some things in a carburetor that cause the mileage to go up. You can't do that with fuel injected because everything is pre-measured. Everything is automatic. Everything's done by the computer. So, but you think about the logic. We should be, if cars advanced like cell phones advanced, we would be using the road as a reference point. We wouldn't be using the road as something we needed to drive on. It's just, well, that's where military drive is, or that's where whatever road it is, as a reference point, but we don't need it. That's how they've ripped that in many other ways. That's one of the ways that they've ripped us off because the technology exists today.
Yeah, but everybody doesn't know about engines like they do about cell phones, But if everybody had common knowledge of an engine, then there'd be more people out there,
But again, I go back to logic. Where's the questioning? Where's the logic and rationale? Why hasn't the automotive industry changed like the cell phone industry? Because the technology exists. There's no question about it. You can go look up the patents. There was a man that in 1974, a man by the name of Stanley Myers. In 1974, we had this thing called the Arab Oil Embargo. The Arabs in Saudi Arabia decided they were going to cut our oil back to the point that we had people waiting in lines. I mean, there were people, fortunately for me, I was in the Air Force, I didn't have to wait in line. But the civilians, they have to wait hours in line, and then got to the point where you only get 5 gallons. You can only wait hours in line and only get 5 gallons. You've got a car that gets 11 miles to the gallon. You're not going to get very far at 5 gallons. So this man decided that this country, which is smaller than this Texas, is bringing our country down on its knees. He's going to do something about it. He devised a unit that allowed his car to run on water. He took water and turned it into gas, and that gas ran his engine. They came to him. He did the patriotic thing. He went to the government. He says, "You're never going to have to buy fuel for any of your boats again, ever. The ocean is your fuel. You'll never have to fuel another." And they ended up, I believe, my opinion, because he did get murdered, but I believe the government was behind it because they don't make any money on that. They make money on selling. This is one of the greatest detriments to bringing forward alternative methods of energy. There is so much money for the government in energy. You get taxes on think about this for a minute. If they gave you a penny, just a penny, for every gallon of gas that was sold just in Palm Beach County, how rich do you think you'd be in a month? Now imagine it's upwards of 90 some odd cents. By the time you add all the taxes, it's upwards of 90 some odd cents per gallon. How much money is that? Now you come along and go, hey, listen, I got a better way. We don't have to use gas. We can use water. And in Florida, my God, we got water everywhere. This place is like a sponge. All they saw was dollar signs going down the tubes. Hell no, we can't have this. So he tried to patent it. They wouldn't let him patent it. He went to the World Patent Office. He got a world patent on it. He came back. He had a working car, driving around in a working car. And he was going to come out with an injector, what looked like an injector that you put in your car and you put water in your tank. And he died shortly thereafter.
Whoa. Yeah.
Run your car on water. If you remember, in chemicals makeup, water is H2O. 2 molecules of hydrogen, 1 molecule of oxygen. The perfect ratio for an implosion that is so powerful, it's like 20 or 30 times more powerful than gasoline. So not only is your car getting more to the miles per gallon, but it's far more powerful. It's cleaner. What comes out the exhaust pipe? Water. There's no pollution.
Oh my God, that sounds like a great
Stanley
utopia.
Myers. Go look it up. Meyers. Stanley Myers.
Yeah. If my Asian producer was here tonight, which he never is ever. he's here the amount of times. He's not here the amount of the amount of percentages that you have for surviving COVID.
Yeah.
Anyway, God, we could rattle on forever, can't we, RISCALLA?
Yep.
Huh?
Amen.
Holy shit. Hold on 1 second. Let me look at my notes here. What did we not talk about? Yeah. Are you a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world?
I don't know. I looked up chauvinists, and I think that they purposely changed the definition of a chauvinist. To me, a chauvinist is like a Southern gentleman. I don't know if that's a proper way to describe it, but a Southern gentleman is the kind of guy who'd open a door for a woman. If he saw a situation where a lady needed some help, there would be no problem. Strictly to help. There's no underlying, I'm not here to get in your pants. It's just, you need help and I'm here to help you. A Southern gentleman is somebody who stands up for what is right. They know what is right and they make a stand for what is right. I relate that to chauvinism. I don't know if that's
chauvinist. There's another definition of it, and it basically means to have like a really great like love, being very fond of, like almost insanely fond of your culture, basically. And so Western culture, more specifically, is the question. So I would probably are you a Western chauvinist who refuses to apologize for creating the modern world?
I don't think that there's an apology needed. Where are we going to? I'm not part of what's going on. I'm doing everything to fight what's going on. So I'm not going to apologize for them. I'm not part of that. I'm part of something that's looking to bring back what we've been talking about, and part of that, I believe, would be this being part of a Western chauvinist. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the question. The question I just asked is the question that like
they asked that of the Proud Boys, right? They brought that up to the Proud Boys and they tried to make it look bad. I saw that video.
Yeah. So I'd like to ask you that because I get the kind of feeling that you'd probably be a good Proud Boy. Well,
I'm proud of being American. I'm proud that I served for this country. I'm ashamed of my fellow people and citizens for a variety of reasons that they're not stepping up. They tell us that there's 74 million of us. That's what they want us to believe that voted for Trump. I believe it was 80 or 85 million. I really do. I think it was a hell of a lot more. But I'm going to, for argument's sake, I'll say 74 million. Where are you, 74? Where are you? Why are your voices so silent? Why is it only just a very small percentage of us that are raising our voices and crying out, this is wrong. What is happening is not right. Why is it only a small percentage of us? Where are the rest of you people? I guarantee you, as the sun shines tomorrow, if all of us got together, those people would be crapping their pants big time. We wouldn't have Biden as a president. We would have Trump as a president.
What do you think about the insurrection?
What a joke. I think that they played, just like they played the virus up, right? I told you earlier, they had to pounce those numbers up so they could justify what they're doing. The same thing with this insurrection. People walked into a building, for God's sake. How is that an insurrection? The building is supposedly the people's, what do they call it? The people's... the
People's House.
Yeah, the People's House. The people walked in. Did they threaten anybody? They want you to believe that they did. I didn't see anybody threaten anybody. I saw somebody sit at Nancy Pelosi's desk and prop their feet up. Disrespectful, yes, I'll agree. But I didn't see anybody threaten anybody. I didn't see anybody's lives. I didn't see anybody carrying any weapons.
I think they tore some shit up a little bit, but it was...
The people that tore the shit up weren't Trump supporters.
But they didn't have any weapons.
Yeah.
Nobody had any weapons.
And I guarantee you the people that tore the stuff up weren't Trump supporters. That's not where... There's... who was it that I talked to? One of the guys came on the show and said, all we did was walk in. We just wanted to see. And the cops were letting people in, for God's sake. They were moving the barrier. There's videos of them literally moving the barrier. Hey, let's go over here. Come on this way. Hey, doors open. Doors open. It's not even breaking and entering. And they want to threaten these people with solitary confinement. They're talking about, what, decades in prison? This is what I told you about earlier. You see, if one of them had done that, one of their people had done that openly, oh, let's slap them on the hand. You know, so what if they burn down a whole city? So what if they murder a retired cop trying to stop them? So what? Let them all go. But walk into a building and you're a Trump supporter? Oh, my God. Lord have mercy on you. That's what we've got to stop. That has to stop. If they do it to them, they're going to do it to us eventually. That's what it all boils down to. When I was growing up, Martin Luther King was very popular. And I thought he was a troublemaker.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Coral Gables, in Miami.
Nice.
And I thought he was a troublemaker because I saw all these riots, you know, and he would be related to the riots. I didn't know any better. As I grew older and understood what Martin Luther King was, what a fool I was. This man was way ahead of his time, way ahead of his time. He was pushing for peace among everybody, not just black people and white people, among everybody. I'm sorry. Among everybody. Okay. Instead of realizing that when it was going on, it took me years later to see what he was. His goal was to bring about peace and equality, not equity. Equity is different. Equality. Equality amongst everybody, regardless of the color of your skin, whether you're brown, blue, purple, it didn't matter. Equality amongst everybody, a brotherhood. And they killed him. For everybody that comes up and fights the system, they killed John F. Kennedy.
Would you say that they're populists?
They're what?
A populist.
Explain.
Somebody who's a populist. You don't know the term populist?
I'm not sure I understand the term.
So right there behind you, that's Huey Long right on the back there. He's a populist. Populism, as in populism. Populism
is like going by whatever's popular?
Populism, a political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by established elite groups.
Isn't that what Trump was doing?
Oh, that is kind of what we're talking about. Support for populist politicians or policies, the quality of appealing to or being aimed at ordinary people. But it's appealing to the people, and it's kind of like populists are Trump. Trump is a populist, and they could be on both sides of the political spectrum. I think that like Malcolm X was kind of like a populist, and Martin Luther King was kind of like a populist. They use they used rhetoric, they used words in order to lead people, right? And JFK was a populist. That's why they killed him. Populists. So anytime somebody can emerge and get the people behind them, that's what they really hate. They hate that like a free thinker kind of person, right? Yeah. Basically a free thinker person. That person's life
expectancy has just dropped tremendously.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We see that time and time again. Whether it was JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, They tried, I don't know whether you're aware, but they have tried to physically kill Trump many times. 2 of those times were here in West Palm Beach. I'm positive of that. I woke up one Saturday morning and I heard jets flying sorties overhead. And you know that moment as you're asleep and you're waking up, you're just kind of like in a half awake, half asleep. And I said, oh shit, I'm late for work. I got to go. I thought I was back on the runway. And then I realized, what the hell's going on? Jets aren't supposed to be flying low sorties over a civilian area like this. What's going on? I went outside. There's 2 of them flying back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He was under threat 2 different times that he was here. He was under threat. And from what I understand, it's far more than 2. It's probably above, well over a dozen times that his life has been under threat, that he has successfully evaded them. These are again, more reason to get rid of these people. Every reason in the world to get rid of these people. They don't represent us. Do they represent you? Mm-hmm. I don't know of anybody that I know of that they represent and what they're doing to this country. You
mentioned it before, the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scumbags. Dirtbags.
I love that word, scumbags. Yeah. Dirtbags. God, we have so much in common, man.
Don't deserve to be on this planet. See, all my life, I've never really wanted, even during the war, I didn't want, the whole reason I joined the Air Force, I didn't want to kill anybody. I don't want that blood on my hands. But after learning what these people have done, it's not, I wouldn't shed a tear if somebody took the entire family out, even babies. I know that sounds cold and calculated, but I understand now from reading certain parts of the Bible where God tells them to go in and kill everybody. Don't leave anybody behind. There was a reason for that. They don't want that bloodline continuing.
Whoa.
But they need to be exterminated. That's my opinion. These people like the Rothschilds, the warlords, I can't think of his name now. There's
this 13, episode will definitely be self-destruct.
13 different families.
This episode will probably be removed
at the top of the pyramid, if you will.
Yeah. There's how many families? 13?
13 is, from what I understand, is the top of the pyramid. And they are the ones who are creating the havoc around the planet, all over the planet. They're the ones who fund both sides of the war. They never lose. They always win. They fund both sides. Doesn't matter who loses. They win.
But why do it?
Population. They believe that, depending upon who you ask, there's somewhere between 7 billion and 9 billion people on the planet. Now, if you convert that number into millions, and I'll tell you why in a minute. If you convert that number to millions, we'll just use the smaller number, 7,000. 7,000 millions would equal 7 billion. 7,000 millions, 7 billion. They want to reduce that from 7,000 to 500. That's why they're doing what they're doing. This is the whole reason. Once they can get it down to 500, they know that they'll have enough leverage over the population of the planet that we will never be able to rise up against them. And they'll have their way with the planet, whatever they want. They have technology that can make snow. You know, they have a snow lift in Saudi Arabia. They have a snow ski, what do you call it? A slide, whatever that thing is, in Saudi Arabia, in the desert.
It reminds me of the Bible, like where they, the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
That's basically what we're doing, right?
I told people for many years. I think we're
on a flat Earth, okay, and we're just building the Tower of Babel.
I've told people for many years, if we can unite together, be of one mind and one spirit, there is nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Even the Bible says that. The whole reason God supposedly came down and created languages, all the different languages, was because the people are of one mind and one spirit, and they were building this tower. And they were doing it so well, they were going to overpower him. That's why, from what I understand, that's why the introduction of all the different languages. He came down and confused the populace. How did he do that? By introducing all the different languages. So if we are of one mind and one spirit, and we're together by heart, there's nothing that we can't do. I think they know that. They're not even going to be able. It's a lost cause. Eventually, like Nostradamus said, we reach a point. God, there was this awesome Nostradamus movie back in the day when I was growing up. I haven't seen it in forever. Yeah.
I got to look for that. But I remember at the end, they say we reach a point where I think it's like Nirvana, basically. And I think it's where we hit that point right there where we could all think the same.
Yeah.
Maybe it's through Elon Musk and his Neuralink thing. No? Maybe it's through the internet. Maybe it's just through the internet and having being able to communicate with each other all over the world.
We have that. That's the whole problem. We've been lied to. We have that already.
But that opened us. Listen, because of the internet, you went on there and you found out about Vietnam, and that made you smarter. And then you that took you on that journey because of information.
Yeah.
That's what gives you power. Knowledge gives you power.
Absolutely.
So more people that can access knowledge and learn and stuff.
My point is, we don't need.
They must know that there's going to reach a point where they're fucked.
We don't need the technology. We have the capacity to talk to each other telepathically, but they've robbed us of it. They have us drinking fluoride. What does the fluoride do? It calcifies your pineal gland. The pineal gland is the spiritual gateway. That's why so many people don't understand about the spiritual fight. That we're fighting a physical fight here, but there's also a spiritual fight that's going on. Up in the spiritual realm, there's a huge fight that's going on that affects us down here, and our fight down here affects them up there. I have no doubt that that's true. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. And from the fact that they have introduced, what's the fluoride for? They told you it's for cavities. If you drop fluoride on your cement floor, it'll eat a hole in your floor.
I know about fluoride. Listen, Florida is one of the main perpetrators of that. You know that, right?
I went to a village meeting, I don't know, a decade ago. They all laughed at me, but I got them to remove fluoride.
Most of the phosphate.
And as soon as I got them to remove it, they put it back in.
All the phosphate mining is done right here in the state.
Yeah.
And all of the runoff from the phosphate is chemically fluoride. That's what they have sold to all these different communities out there to put toxic waste into. They're legally allowed to put it in the drinking water.
They're not allowed to dump it.
No, they're not. They're allowed to put it in the water, though.
Yeah. They'll put it in your water and poison you with it, but they're not allowed to dump it.
Yeah, but that's what fluoride is. Fluoride is phosphate runoff. That they have here in the state of Florida.
It's part of the fertilizer.
The state of Florida is the main producer of phosphate.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We have the worst water. Yeah. That's why we have. I think that's why we have horrible pizza.
Because of the sugar fields. That's where a lot of the farming is sugar fields. Florida's known for its sugar field. That's one of the most powerful industries in the state. Is the sugar industry. Mm-hmm. So between all the fertilization they do and the runoff that they have, and like I said earlier, you're not allowed to dump it, but you can give it to humans all day long. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. And it's supposed to be helpful with regard to cavities. No such thing. Again, we're back to the deception. Even the money that we carry is a lie. Even the money that you have in your pocket is a lie. It's a debt note. It's not money. It's something completely different. They call it a vaccine. It's not a vaccine.
What is money?
Yeah, really, what is money? It's supposed to be a way to barter back and forth. It's an
exchange for your
services.
For your services, for your time, for your energy.
It was supposed to be a way for us to barter back and forth.
What do you think about cryptocurrency?
I don't know enough to really...
No, you don't know anything.
I know very little, and I don't trust it.
No?
Because it's nothing. It's like here in Florida, you have PIP insurance. What are you buying? You're buying air. It's nothing. It doesn't do anything to help you, but it gets you your driver's license. Okay? Cryptocurrency, where is it? Who keeps it? Are we buying some kind of mineral? No, you're just buying something that somebody assumes has some value. Again, it's like the dollar. You take a look at your dollar, it says Federal Reserve note at the top. That's a fancy IOU. It's not worth anything. It's barely even worth what it's printed on, let alone anything at all. It doesn't matter whether it's a $1 bill, a $100 bill, it doesn't make any difference. It's all in the perception of what you have.
Mm-hmm. You're the man, RISCALLA.
Are we out?
We can keep doing this forever.
Yeah.
So we've been going for an hour and a half. That's not that much. Probably could even go more. Do you have anything like burning desire to talk about? Anything else?
No, I just want to know where the 74 million are. Where are you 74? That's my question. Supposedly, I won't argue with them because they came out with a number. If I say 80, they go, no, it's 74. I don't want to argue that. I'll say 74. 74 is far more than what we need to get through what we get through, to get through what we need to get through. They're all silent. I say all, generally speaking, and these are general, statements I'm saying. But generally speaking, you don't hear a rise up from the people. Now, if Biden would have lost, what do you think would have happened? They would have paid how many provocateurs to come out and raise hell with everybody, right? If he'd have lost. Yet when the good side loses, we're all silent. It's like we're giving them our consent. They go by silence, it's consent. So if I'm standing next to you, Bobby, and I say, Bobby, I'm going to kick you, and you don't say anything, that gives me permission to kick you. You didn't say anything. This is how they work. This is how their mind works. We got to get around there. We've got to get people to understand. You can't be silent anymore. You can't be on the sideline anymore. You have to be a part of this, or you're a part of them. It's either us. There is no in between anymore. You can't be a sideliner. This isn't a sports arena where you can sit on the sidelines and watch everything go on. Yeah, he'll take care of that and he'll take care. It's not like that anymore. Not at all. It's every person on deck. We need everybody. And whatever little bit. See, that's the whole thing.
Let me get you a water.
If I take a penny a day, and I take a penny a day and I put it into a jar. Every day I take a penny and I put it into a jar. After a month or so, I've got 30 pennies. After a year, I've got 300 pennies. If you keep putting at it, one penny at a time, if we keep chipping away one person at a time, doing whatever little bit that they can do, we can be the difference. We are the difference, but we won't stand up. We're silent. That's the part that hurts.
We're the silent majority.
That's what they call us. And that's the part that hurts, because I know there have to be other people other than you and me that feel what we feel and want what we want. Then where are you? And it can't be just a couple of people. It has to be numerous amounts of people. Why would 74 million, I'm using that number for sake of argument, why would 74 people, according to them, vote for this man Trump if he was hated so much? If everybody really hated him like they want you to believe, how did 74 people come out and vote for him? No, that's not true.
74 million people.
I want to see a 74 show up. If we could get 10% of the 74, just 10%, I think that would be enough. There's a story I read many years ago that it only took 3%. Was it 3%? It was 3% to make a change in society. Only 3%. If that's true.
And that's alluding to the 3%ers group, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was it? Only 3% what?
Only 3% it took to bring about the change. It doesn't require a whole lot of us, but it requires us. That's the point. And I go back to 74 million. If I could get 1 out of every 10 people, 2 out of every 10 people, 3 out of every 10 people to stand up against some of what's going on, you know.
But what are we going to do, though?
The very first thing we need, this is why I believe in the Floridians' first thing. The very first thing we need to do is start putting people in place where we can believe in our elections. I don't believe in our elections. I know my vote was stolen. That pisses me off. Mm-hmm. Because people shed their lives, shed blood, lost limbs, God knows what, for us to have the choice to vote. That pisses me off. I don't understand. Again, 74 million. Why are you so silent? So the first thing we need to do is we need to change it at the local level so they can't. I go back to, if they didn't have the help at the local level, you see the video in Georgia where they pulled the suitcases out from under the table. They sent everybody home, but those 3 or 4 criminals stay behind, pulled us. If they didn't have them, they wouldn't have been able to do that. We need to put those people in. That's the very first thing that we need to do. Get people involved.
Oh, I got one. This is another one that I talk about. The inverted dictatorship. Everybody always wants to say that Trump was a dictator, right? But really what it is it's inverted dictatorship, where all of these Congress people and these senators are all bought and paid for. They're all owned by the elite that we're talking about.
Yeah. Much of them by China. Much of them. Much of our sports is owned by China. This is why these guys kneel and show the disrespect that they do. The China's pushing their buttons. Football. I don't know if it was baseball. I think it was baseball. There's a couple of other sports that China's backing these people. Like 80 and 90% of the finances are coming from China. So guess who they're going to be loyal to? It's sad, but that's who they're loyal to. They're not loyal to us. Mm-hmm. They're going to give you an excuse of what we're standing for, what BLM or one of those crazy. No, it's not that at all. It's completely different. Again, we're deception. It's all about deception and your perception. If I can get you to perceive something and deceive you while you're doing it, you'll never know it. You'll never know it, and that's what we do. From the money that we have to the vaccines that we talked about, it's all a deception. People have logic and rationale. I tell people, use your logic, use your rationale. Question, God gave you a mind. Question, why? Why are they doing this? Why do I need a vaccine for something that 99% of the population gets through without medical intervention? When the vaccine, at best, is 94.2, I think it is. The best one is 94.2. Johnson & Johnson is 76. Why? Why do you need that? And why vaccinate a child when the children are the least at risk? 99.9997%. They get through it. Why vaccinate them? The vaccine is a population control in more ways than one. Those who don't die, I believe, will be sterilized. They men and women. They've already put warnings out. Be careful if you're pregnant or you're looking to get pregnant. Be careful if you're going to get vaccinated. They've already put the warning out.
Fuck that. I'm not doing that at all.
Well, I don't think we're going to get pregnant.
No, but don't the man get sterile, right?
Yeah. And what's, I read an article about a year ago, which was very concerning. The sperm count for American males has dropped 50% in the last 60 years. 50%. What's causing that? All the crap that they're doing to us. All the different, between the stress, the GMOs, what they're spraying in the sky. God knows what they're spraying in the sky every day. Fukushima? Yeah, who knows? Jeez, man. Who knows?
We're fucked.
Well, the only way...
just in. We're fucked.
The only way out
I'm
is
Walter
unity.
Cronkite and...
Walter Cronkite. Haven't heard Walter Cronkite.
Adios.
Yeah. The only way out is unity.
Yeah.
Division is sure... there's an old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. That's true. Absolutely true. And division is what they push. If you look at what's going on, they're pushing division more and more. This race thing, this critical race thing, right? There's with white supremacy, or they're pushing against the Chinese because of the Chinese virus, right? Anything that they can use to pit people against each other. That's your testimony that unity is the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's hard to become, the people that are like Trump supporters, though, are like really individualistic, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but isn't that what being free is? When you're free, you are to be independent, right?
It's hard to get people together. Like, that's the one thing about the Democrats. Democrats are really, really good
that is true.
at organizing and getting people together because it's all about collectivism and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
But
you can't, how do you get them?
Look at the Trump rallies, though. We didn't have people fighting with each other.
I think it's things like Proud Boys.
Yeah. No, I think that's a valid answer. But again, I go back to the Trump rallies for a moment. Tens of thousands of people. They weren't fighting with each other. Mm-hmm. So there had to be a degree. That's probably what scared the snot out of these people. They could see the unity of these people together, all these people together, and they're not fighting with each other. Yeah, if you hold a Biden, one of his things, whatever you want to call it, the joke that was, what do you got, 20 people there? 20 or 30 people? It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know, yeah. It's totally ridiculous.
But they want us to believe that he got more votes than anybody else in the history of our country. Sat in his basement, told people straight out, I don't need to go out and campaign. No, I don't need to. Told other people, I don't work for you. Yeah. It was fixed from the beginning.
Where can people hear you? Like, they can hear you, like, what time? You do it on the weekends, right?
Yeah, Saturdays from 9 p.m. to midnight. WTRM Radio, WTRMradio.com, or RedPillRealityShow.com.
And let me know, when you want me on.
I'll have you on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I'll be a great guest.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't even be saying this. You should be asking me. You should be on your hands and knees, man.
Well, let me get off the chair. I'll get down on the floor in a minute here.
Like the Coptic religion.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that back to like... so crazy we can talk about anything, but like Jamaicans, doesn't that have something to do with that? That's right, the Coptic religion.
There are Coptic Jamaicans, but I don't know if
that's the Jamaican religion.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the same or not. I'm not sure.
They believe in the president of Egypt. That's their religion. You know that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
It's a totally ridiculous fugazi religion.
The Coptic that's in Egypt.
A lot of these religions, I think that they are just manufactured by us.
Yeah, they are.
But
they're a way to control people. It's a control tool.
But why do you believe in God then?
Because it's about relationships. It's not about religion. It's about your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your creator, your relationship with whoever else that's involved in your life. I don't think there's anywhere in the Bible that says
if the Bible was fake, even if you lived by it, even if you did live by it, you would have a better life. Like Absolutely. You'd be a better person and you'd have a better life.
I don't think the Bible is fake. I think men put the Bible together, so there's always that is involved. They decided what books were going to be in the Bible. There are other books that should have gone in the Bible that they left out. There's the book of Enoch. There's a book of Barnabas. There's another book. I can't think of the name of that. There's books that have been left out of the Bible. So, but there's nowhere in the Bible, I was going to get to this earlier, there's nowhere in the Bible that says you have to be this religion. You have to be this in order to be saved. It doesn't, even Christ never mentioned Christian. There's no mention of Christian being a Christian in the New Testament. There's Christianity following Christ. So to me, it was never about a religion. Religion was brought in place to control people. You get people to believe in this, and then you tell them, well, this wants you to do this, and this wants you to do that. And if you don't do that, then you're going to go to hell. Then you get control people easier. So for me, it's never been about religion. It's been about relationships. Growing up as a Roman Catholic, my mom took me to church. There's all these things that you do. You walk down the aisle, you kneel before the cross, and I don't even remember it all. You do this number here.
Dude, I went to Catholic school my whole life.
To me, even as a young boy, I said, this is crazy. What has this got to do with God? Yeah, I just thought it was silly. I really did. So as I got older, I realized it was silly. I don't mean to offend anybody. If that's what you do, knock yourself out. You know? But I just don't do it. It's not my thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that I would probably indoctrinate my kids into Catholicism.
Yeah.
Just to, yeah. Because I was also indoctrinated into it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But being a follower of Christ and being a Catholic, what happened with Catholicism is the priest would be the one who read the Bible all the time.
Oh,
they didn't want you to read the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted to read the Bible to you.
And it was in Latin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing that we were talking about. The big
knowledge.
circle.
We're back
the
to
big
knowledge.
circle.
Yeah. Knowledge.
Life is a circle. It's all about knowledge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And during the slavery, times of slavery, the slave masters could do anything they wanted to the slaves. They could literally kill them if they wanted to. It was up to them. The one thing that could get a slave master in trouble to the point where they could possibly even be hung, one thing, you know what that was?
What?
Teaching the slaves how to read and write. Knowledge.
Wow. Yeah, no shit, right? God. That's what it is. I think that we'll reach a point where we all become so smart that we'll be uncontrollable. We'll all uncontrollable children. There's billions of us. There's no way. Yeah, the only way is through
I've never
vaccines.
thought of myself as smart.
The only way is through
somebody
vaccines.
who questions. And one of the things that I'm grateful for being in the Air Force, while I was in the Air Force, my official title was research specialist. They would come to me and they would say, I'd have 45 minutes. And if an aircraft went down and it was one of our priority aircraft, I had 45 minutes to figure out how to get that part, where that part was at, and get it to that aircraft so they could put it in that aircraft. The aircraft had to be airborne within an hour and a half. 45 of that minutes was up to me to research and find. The faster I could research it and find it, the more time they had to get it and put it in the aircraft and get it up. So the government taught me how to research, cross-reference, look at a variety of different things and come to a conclusion. I thank the government for that. But the rest of it, they can kiss my butt. The wars and the crap, no, I ain't going to cut it. God bless you, brother.
God bless you, bro. Now listen, you guys, please do me a favor, because this, you have like the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. Well, I have a Rumble.
They keep
taking my YouTube down.
But they do? They did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Talk about vaccines. Talk about the
Come on, you're going to totally
election.
kill me. This thing's going to come down. You bastard. Oh, I'm so angry. Why did you do this to me?
I am a trans-vaxite. You know what that is?
Laura Loomer got me the first one. And now you're going to give me the second? Oh, my God.
A trans-vaxite. You know what a trans-vaxite is?
That means that you're just going to, you're going to
identify as being vaccinated.
Yes. Yep. So you're probably going to, that's going to be a great market for, vaccine passports, right? Some fake ones.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to be able to do that for very long. What's in the vaccine? There's a couple things in the vaccine.
It's going to be They Live. Back in the They Live.
It is very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that are in the vaccine. One is there's a patent. The patent the patent number is WO for World Order 2020 for the year 2020. And you can't make this stuff up. WO 2020 060606.
Right.
That's the patent number. Go look the patent number up and you're going to find that it's a patent about a cryptocurrency that is injected into your body, and that this nanoparticles that are injected into your body, these microscopic robots that are injected into your body, now become part of your body, use the energy that your body produces to power them, and they report back to a central station.
My cousin Mike better not find out about this.
Everything about you. Everything.
He'll jump right on that currency.
Okay, so that's one. Number two, the reason the COVID ID cards are not going to be required in the future there's also another ingredient that's being put into the vaccine. It's called luciferase. Luciferase is a chemical that glows when it's hit with a specific light. So once you're injected with luciferase, you don't need to carry a certificate of vaccination ID. All you have to do is go, here, shine your light, and it'll show that you've been vaccinated.
Certificate of vaccination ID?
That's what COVID stands for. That's what COVID stands for.
My mind is
Certificate
blown
of vaccination ID.
This
That's why they keep
episode's
saying
fucked.
it.
This
They want
episode
people-
is totally fucked.
Where are your papers?
Stop red pilling everybody.
I want to see your papers.
You're red pilling too many people, man. You're red pilling too many people.
Yeah,
But my point to everybody is just, please like, and that's not the important thing, is share it. Share this, because you have the Rumble account, you have the YouTube account, but you got to tell them, you got to have the traffic come. And a person like me, who's been vilified or whatever, we are crushed and removed from social media, and then therefore we don't have the ability to do that. So please, there is a 20-year-old kid in a back room at Google with crusted pants, and he's deciding who wins or loses in life because he learned how to code while living in his mommy's basement. Are you going to allow that? I hope not. So I want you guys to please share this video on whatever platform you have. Tweet it, Facebook it. Those guys are super crazy perpetrators. And always remember, friends, vaya con Dios.
He always says that's me. With that look on his face, he'll talk about anything.
Yeah, outstanding.
Tattoos, t-shirts, politics, history, and hot talk on everything. Bobby Pickles, pop culture, documentaries, conspiracy theories, sarcasm, and fear. It's a conversation, start listening, cause we're all here. Bobby Pickles Podcast. That's me. Out of your boy.